Well, no, get the net, get the net. He'll be close, probably not. How much did it weigh? £1.25? Yeah. I mean, probably get the net. Please. Yes. Huh? What do you think? 4-pounder at Altoona. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. Huh? Oh, God. Dude, I thought that was a... Oh, that was a big one. Dang it. That might be a little. He just took off. Bend Cove, and then the water kind of gets a little like they're biting today. Our trolling motor, that's the next thing. These batteries are cooked. No, let go of it. Bro, you did all that. You couldn't have been a 3. Okay, so right here I have to go to a voiceover because he's listening to music and YouTube does not like that. But you can see he's throwing the buzzbait. This was after our tournament. This was the next day. Right there, one blows up on it. You can see it loads up pretty good. So this fish is definitely not a little baby, so he's reeling. Of course, Austin's using my fishing pole right here. I was actually doing a crappy fishing guide trip, so I guess when I'm not there, he gets to use my stuff. But, of course, he had to walk it back to the back of the boat. Y'all know if y'all watch my videos, he's pretty dramatic. He's even getting the net out. So he's getting down there like it's a dang FLW tour tournament, trying to net this joker. And the camera angle is kind of bad. I think whenever he hooked up, sometimes whenever you set the hook, we'll bump the camera and it kind of switches the angle down. But he's fighting this fish. You can see it flopping right there. He gets in the net. And actually, I have seen fish like this get hooked, but it's kind of surprising on the buzzbait the way that it hooked it. So he messes around for a second trying to get spot lock. It looks like he broke his finger or something. Who knows what happened. But whenever he gets down there and gets it out of the net, you can tell that this fish straight up swiped at this bait. So he picks it up right here, and look where he's got this thing hooked with the buzzbait. He's got it on top of the head in the fish's eye. I mean, it come up and just swiped at it and got caught right there in the eye. So obviously that does not look too good for the fish, but that thing didn't even try to eat it. I mean, I guess it did, but it just swiped at it and got hooked on top of the head. So I guess he got it out, and hopefully that fish I'm sure it'll live. It's just going to be blind from now on because of Austin. Alright, so I got to do a voiceover right here because Austin was listening to music. But he's throwing a buzzbait down the bank, and if you look up there, there's a log. And I'm actually going to replay this right here because a fish jumped over it. So I'm going to hit replay real quick. Alright, so right here, he's throwing a buzzbait again. He just caught that one. So obviously he's up here in some pretty shallow water, fishing down the bank. It was real overcast and kind of cool this past Sunday. That's when this video was taken. So he's reeling that thing pretty quick. The water temp was still kind of warm, and the fish were still pretty aggressive, but the air temp was cool. So you can see that's a pretty good blow up right there. I mean, that thing smoked it. So he's got the rod down, reeling that bad boy in. Flipping the boat right here. It's a small little largemouth, not a keeper, but still pretty fun. Looks like it's probably about a, I don't know, 12 or 13 incher maybe, but he got him another one on the buzzbait. Alright, so we got a little bit different look right here. He's pulling out the jig rod. You can see he's come up to a boat dock on the bank. He makes a pretty good skip up under there. I mean, it's probably only 3 or 4 foot. You can look right there when he picks up that line was swimming off. So he sets the hook and reels this one right here in. And it's a little bigger than that last one he caught. Still just a little largemouth, but this one does look a little healthier. This one might be a 14 incher, maybe 14 and a half, showing that jig off. You can see he definitely ate it, that's for sure. So that's a nice chunky little largemouth out from under that boat dock. Alright, so right here, another different look just through the jig fish back. So now he's out here in some more open water out in the middle of the river channel. You can see he's throwing that jerk bait. So the wind's picked up a tad. He saw some bait out there on the livescope and threw that jerk bait over there. If you watched my last video from a few days ago, he caught a couple. So right there, he hooks up. And at first, he's really bowed up, like, oh yeah, this is a good one. And then it gets a little bit closer, and he's like, oh. So you can see him trying to shake the rod to get it off. He actually hooked up with a white bass out there in the middle of the river channel chasing some bait. Unfortunately, it did not flip off like he wanted to, so he had to get this thing in the boat and try to get it unhooked and all that. But you can see he's got it down there on the floor. It's a pretty decent sized white bass. That's why you can see he probably thought it was a nice bass at first, but little white bass on the jerk bait. So right here, he is still out here in the open water, still chasing that same bait ball. If you look on the top of the live scope, there's a ton of bait right there. So he's seen some fish in the middle of it, a couple dots, and right there, hooks up again. Nice hook set. So he's reeling this bad boy in. He's probably thinking, I hope it's a bass this time. And it looks like it is. I think he's actually got it hooked, kind of foul hooked or hooked in the side maybe. It looks like it's fighting a little funny. But he's about to swing this one in the boat. So he's caught that white bass first, and now he's got this one in, and it appears that he's got him a little largemouth that he hooked on the side of the head. So he's caught 3 or 4 so far on this trip that are all about 14, looks like about that 13, 14 inch range. So, I mean, not bad fish, but the only thing about Wedowee is in a tournament, they got to be 16 to keep. So that little guy is not a keeper, but still a nice one to catch. Alright, so right here in this clip, he has switched over to the hated jig head minnow. You can see he's got his spinning rod out with that bright green line. He sees still that same bait ball that y'all saw a second ago with the jerk bait, but now he's just mixing it up, giving him a different look with that jig head minnow. So he's kind of working it real slow, just kind of shaking it, popping it along, watching that screen, and right there one loads up on it and grabs it. So he starts reeling. This one actually hit it pretty close to the boat. Those other ones were pretty far out on the cast. So flips this one in. Another little largemouth. So he's definitely on some largemouth. Not many spotted bass in this part of the video, but you can see that fish choke that thing. But just another one of those little, this one might just be a 12-inch or not even 13 or 14. Alright, so he threw his jig head minnow fish back, and he's got one more on the jerkbait. Like I said, I hope to not have to do these voiceovers much anymore. He was just listening to music the other day and completely forgot about all the stuff on YouTube and how that's not a good thing with my videos and music. But anyway, he's hooked up on that jerkbait again, gets this one close to the boat, and this is the tiniest one of the day. But once again, another little largemouth. So he was definitely around the right species he was after, just didn't have the size. So you can see if y'all watch this part, he's trying to not get a hook in his hand right here. I'm sure he had a few choice words to say and is trying to get a hook in his hand. The only hook Austin ever got was from a jerkbait, one of those mega bass with a backwards hook. So he's definitely trying to be careful and not let this little 10-incher get him hooked up. But that's one more he caught on the jerkbait. I think we got one more clip after this, and that should be about it.